Hello, everyone. I'm back, your movie guru, with another review. This time, right in tune with this fall season, I am bringing Halloween Kills. Um, we'll start off by saying that I am a big fan of this franchise, if not so much the franchise, the character of Michael Myers. Many people will have heard of him. It's iconic. He's become an iconic character, and as far as horror films, and then just in popular culture in general. Been around for quite some time now, and I can remember growing up seeing the first Halloween, and that's one of the times that I can really remember being afraid as a child. And thinking about, what would I do if Michael Myers was after me? So this character, I have a lot of history with. And there's been a lot of sequels over the year. Some I thought were well done. Some are just completely terrible. And, depending on the director and depending on what they were trying to do, I've enjoyed some. More often than not, I haven't enjoyed them. So with this one is a sequel to 2018's Halloween, where they kind of wiped the slate clean and, of all the other sequels, and said, hey, we're going to start over. This 2018's Halloween was going to be, a reboot of the series. It's a sequel to the first Halloween, in the 70s. And, we're going to start it off as a direct sequel from there, ignoring, all the other ones that have happened. And that one actually had both, I remember it was over 70% scores from the critics and the audience, 70% positive scores on Rotten Tomatoes. This one was very much divided. So 35% positive scores by the critics, but 72%, so still pretty high by the audience. But seeing the reaction online and between my friends, it was completely polarizing. And so I think that 72% score isn't exactly what you think about on face value. Most people that I've seen and talked to and read what they had to say, who've seen it, they either really enjoyed it or they really hated it. And after seeing it, I understand why. I give it a 6.5 out of 10, and we'll get to why. But what I think that this film kind of falls victim to, and I talked about this in some of my reviews to other films, is this film has been greatly affected by the Avengers franchise. And that may sound absurd, but what we are seeing now, the current era that we are living in, is, I think, decades from now, centuries from now, they're going to look at this as a superhero era, where a lot of blockbusters and the biggest movies of this time have been superheroes, supervillains. They've been complete cash cows for Marvel and Disney, and that's why you see Disney getting into it. And then, all of these different entities are trying to start these their own cinematic universes, because, Marvel set the mode of how profitable these can be. And so many other places have tried to, mimic that success. And I think with this one, with this, and you say that, what does Michael Myers have to do with, superheroes? In this film, it's, I think why it's got a high rating is it's very entertaining. So there's not a moment throughout the film where you're bored. There's always something going on. There's always action on the screen. And, it's a high-paced octane affair. But that's not really traditionally where Halloween films, where Michael has kind of made its mark. The character of Michael Myers, he's always been this kind of, he's not exactly human. He's more than human. Some of the things that he does, surviving gunshots and things of that nature, things that, a regular person wouldn't be able to do. But, it's never been to the level of, where they're super powered, so there's supernatural elements, but, you never look at him as a type of, he's a Captain America or, a Wolverine or Spider-Man or any, you would never think of him in that type of regard. And he's always been, the entertainment of the film came from Michael stalking, creeping around. It's building this sense of dread, in suspense of going on, where's he at? What's he going to do next? Is he going to catch, whoever he's chasing? That's where it is. In this film, and I give them credit for trying something different, but it was very much, kind of what you'd see like with a supervillain or a superhero, where there's actual fight scenes. And that's not something that you'd expect before. This isn't an action flick. This isn't a superhero flick, where the character, whether villain or hero, is going to go toe to toe with, they're going to be surrounded by, their enemies, and then, you're going to see them fight it out. That's never really been the thing. It's always been a type of predator and prey. And then, every now and then, the prey may have a few tricks up its sleeve, to get Michael back or, something of that nature. But it's never been a type of equal type of thing, when you've got a hero going against a superhero going against a supervillain, they're kind of meeting on even grounds and they're going at it. With the Halloween films and with slasher films, that's kind of never the dynamic. The dynamic is there's this, this evil superpowered guy, whether you're talking about Freddy Krueger or Jason or Hellraiser, any of those, and the people are just trying to escape. Or if they do end up defeating it, it's, at the end of the movie because they were able to find and exploit some weakness. It's never been, that they're meeting on equal footing. Them doing this, it makes for it, it made it more entertaining, where you get to see all these type of fight scenes and, if you like gore, if you like, the violent aspect of it, that part's played up tremendously because there's a lot of scenes where, he's in front of a lot of people. So you get to see a lot more of that. But traditionally, if you're a fan of what Michael traditionally does, that's not, or just a fan of what a typical slasher is, that's not what you're getting in this. You're really getting something that's meant to entertain you, which, isn't necessarily wrong, but, seeing that element and then seeing, the plot wasn't really there. It wasn't really cohesive. It was kind of just something that, hey, we just have this here, to move these elements from this to this. It's kind of just, just to keep things moving along. So you see, so there's a reason why, this person is over here. It's not something well organized. Things just kind of happen. It's not a great... it's not like a thread that's being weaved throughout the whole thing. It's kind of just a bunch of circumstances that happen. Seeing that coupled with, Michael being so out and about, it definitely adds to the entertainment factor. But in a lot of cases, it makes it kind of where it separates you from the believability. With these type of films, there's always some pushing of the I believe button. where it's kind of even a trope where people do stupid things in horror movies where, hey, something looks really creepy. Instead of running the other way, I'm going to go check it out. So, those type of things that we've come accustomed to pressing the I believe button. But, there's always been a reason, for instance, why the people don't just call the police. There's always, they can't get any cell coverage, or the line's been cut, or they're in the middle of nowhere, so they can't reach anybody. It makes it a lot harder to even do that when it's, when these things are happening right out in the open. Like you wouldn't, that takes a different level of belief when it's, okay, hey, this person is doing this in the shadows, and then instead it's, no, this is right out in the open, and you still have people doing things that doesn't make any sense. So 6.5 out of 10, that's what I gave it. I gave it a 6.5, which I felt was a bit higher than I would have, just for the fact that it is very entertaining. So you're not going to leave the movie disappointed in that respect. For those of you who don't know, so this is supposed to be part of, I believe it's in David Gordon Green is the director, and he's going to be directing 3 Halloween films, 2018's Halloween, which I really liked, and I wish they would have stayed more in that vein. But it's always it's going to be Halloween, Halloween Kills, and then this arc or saga is supposed to end with 2022's, I believe it comes out in 2022, Halloween Ends. So this is his 3-film arc. He's not the only director to get a shot at this. You'll remember, I believe it was 2007 was what started Rob Zombie's run of Halloween films, where he had Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, and then, he kind of passed the baton. So with this 3-part epic, I really enjoyed the first one. This one, like I say, 6.5 out of 10. Found it really entertaining, but I wish they would have stayed more in the vein of the first one. And then I'm hoping with the third one that we'll go back to what made the first one what I felt a much better film. But 6.5 out of 10. I won't say it's a waste of your time. You might be disappointed you might walk away, if you're a big Halloween fan or horror movie fan, you might walk away disappointed just because of the direction they took, but you won't walk away from the film saying, I wasted my money because that was boring. It was a waste of my time. You'll definitely enjoy the film, but it might not be for, it might not be what you came for. So let me know what you think. I know this one is very polarizing. Some people, like I said, they absolutely loved it. And we're talking about horror fans, not just, regular movie fans, because horror movies typically don't get as much love, when it comes to high cinema as other films. But amongst horror fans, I've seen some that really loved it or really hated it. I haven't seen too many in between. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to discuss this one. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for your support, and I will see you on the next one.